Breaking news, the bunt cake bandits have struck again. Every time I come on this channel and try to explain how dudes in Louisiana and southern prisons are getting their bunt cakes taken on a day-to-day basis, people type in the comment, this is cap, this is fake, this doesn't happen. Dudes is getting their bunt cakes taken behind Honeybuns. In prison, in the South, if you find this underneath your pillow, that means you are a marked man. You're a marked victim. That means somebody has their eyes set on your bunt cakes. And I just did a video. I'm going to post a link below. Actually, it was the very last video before this video where I talked about 3 ways to protect your manhood the first night you in prison and how to sleep properly in prison so dudes don't look at you as a victim and a mark. And one thing that I talked about in the past is in the past videos is if you find a honey bun or a Snickers bar underneath your pillow, do not eat the honey bun or the Snickers bar. Because if you eat the honey bun, this monetization of prison, this currency of prison, if you eat it, them dudes gonna want payback. See, you thought it was a gift. This ain't no West Coast prison where the car's putting the care packet on your bed. If you find something on your bed in a southern prison, that means they want your bunt cakes. It's not just, hey, look, welcome to the club type of thing. It's, hey, look, welcome to underneath the bunk. Because underneath the bunk, that's where they do that. And in this video, breaking news coming out of DCI Dixon Correctional Institution in Louisiana, a place where I personally done time at, and I had to boom, 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 boom. I had to fight the bunt bandit because he tried to come in my cell and have some kind of affair with me, and I had to get in a fight with him. It just, look, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to go ahead and put the video right here.
According to arrest documents, investigators at Dixon Correctional received a tip from a confidential inmate source last month that Master Sergeant Jermaine Granger was involved in some sort of relationship with an inmate. On that tip, investigators pulled and reviewed footage from inside the prison that shows Granger reaching out and rubbing an inmate's groin area. In the video, the two then enter a dorm bathroom, which is off limits to inmates, and stay in there for less than 30 seconds. Investigators believe that while the pair were inside the dormitory bathroom, that Officer Granger paid off the inmate for letting him touch him. Not with money, though, but something just as valuable inside a prison, Skittles and a honey bun.
Not me. This was just a gift, man. Nothing else, a blessed gift, you know, for me and my wife to share together. But in seriousness, I'm telling you, bunt bandits exist in southern prisons. And if you think that the bunt bandits are limited to the inmates or the convicts, you're sadly mistaken. Because I've seen it in prison myself where the correctional officers are actual bunt bandits, just like the staff. Them correctional officers, some of them, come into the prison looking to make some poor dude their victim. And if, in fact, they can smuggle in off the canteen sheet, they don't even got to smuggle in commissary, such as Honeybuns and Skittles, to get some bunt cakes, they will do just that. That's how depraved it is in southern prisons. It is the literal wild, wild west. There is no rules. There is no hold bars. Snickers bars underneath the pillow. Honey buns underneath the pillow. 2 for 1 on Skittles. And if you don't give them back, you got to give up the bunt cakes. And in these southern prisons, in Louisiana, in these satellite camps, in these state prisons, DCI, they are taking dudes' bunts. They still take it here. They still will get your manhood in Louisiana. They play mental mind manipulation. And if you are hungry and indigent and your family turn their back on you and you a young dude, specifically a young white dude, that's who they mostly trying to test. And I just recently watched a dude from Texas tell a story about doing some time in St. Tammany Parish. And he said he was a white dude. He rode with a white car in Texas and he came to St. Tammany Parish and he was in the parish jail. And beside him, there was only two other white dudes in the dorm, and the two white dudes stayed in the back of the dorm, never left their bunk unless it was chow time and used the bathroom, and sat together and talked all day. He got in a fight with a black dude. Bloom, 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 bloom. Black dude knocked his tooth out. Black dude respected him. They washed up by the thing together, stitched themselves up, and he went to go confront the white dudes because he's used to being in Texas. And in Texas, the car rolls with you. Well, not in Louisiana. So, but the other black dude stopped him and said, say, bro, and he's not used to this. You know, now Texas got prison politics. It ain't to the extreme that's California, but it still exists. Anyway, so you know, some of these dudes from Texas, they'll still talk to black dudes, but in California, they play that stuff on a whole nother level. But anyway, dude's doing time in Louisiana. Like I said, he's only one state over. A lot of Texas and Louisiana people commingle. Anyway, he goes to confront the two white dudes who sat on the bunk, and one of the black dudes in St. Tammany Parish, they told him, they said, say, bro, you good. Don't mess with them dudes, bro. You good with us. You heard me? And the dude was like saying, yeah, that's cool. And so he had to understand, he chilled with the blacks. This was a Wood from Texas, and he was just chilling with the black dudes because the white dudes were weak. And we try to say that all the time on my channel, The Pen and the Shank, the most unusual and unique crime and prison channel experience on YouTube. And where in Louisiana, it's not uncommon for you to be outnumbered as a white person to blacks by 25 people to 1. And if you get in the dormitory, the only other white dudes might be punks. Now, if you get in the dormitory and you got 2 or 3 solid dudes who are ready to ride with you, man, you feel good about yourself. And that's how it is in Louisiana. These dudes think we're exaggerating when we're used to standing on our own 2 feet fighting every single day to get your respect and keep your manhood and your dignity intact. And you have to lose a tooth or get a busted eye or go through some anxiety because you don't know if you're going to have to fight and lose another fight. You got to do what you got to do. And you might have to strap up and do some shanking or hit somebody in the head with a tool or lock or something or a couple cans of tuna. But I'm telling you, they will put a honey bun underneath your bed. And these honey buns is worth more than their weight in gold inside prisons. And this is one of them heavy racetrack honey buns. So you know if you get one of these, you're going to have to get the bun cakes up double time. I'm telling y'all, it's real. And I get it in the comments all the time like I'm exaggerating. And you just saw the video where a correctional officer took a dude's bunt cakes for a honey bun and a box of Skittles. He sold his manhood out for a honey bun and a box of Skittles. I'm telling you, on The Pen and the Shank, we're bringing you the different stories. These ain't the same old everyday stories, man. Every day in prison throughout the United States of America, from the East Coast to the West Coast, there are things happening in prison besides just some fight behind 2 gangs. And you know what? If you're 30, 40, or 50 years old and you're on the street and you did your time, you still repping for gangs, you probably got some serious problems, man. You need to look in the mirror and quit acting like a punk and start acting like a man. You with the gang when you in prison. That's for survival. I got respect for that. But when you get on the street and you still repping for the gang, it's pretty sorry. And you look pretty sorry. And most of society, beside the homies might be like, yeah, bro, that's so awesome and cool, man. You still down for the set at 50. You know, you got out after 20 years in prison, but you still down for the homeboys. Nah, you ain't down. You better be down for your kids, for your wife, for your church, for your community, and to make a better place for this world. You ain't got to be worrying about that stuff. And you know what? Protect your bunts.